Hi guys, today I'll be teaching you about After Effects. I'll just have a recap of the last class which we had. So let's get started. Last class was about the basics of After Effects as so I taught you about the graph editor. I taught you about the easy ease effect, and today I'll be teaching you about the anchor point modifier. Anchor point modifier basically helps you to create animation which involves scaling, which involves the change in size. So we'll be animating size today. I'll name my composition size, and I'll set it to I'll unlock the aspect ratio. I'll change it to 1920 and make it like this much. It's totally fine. I'm gonna You can adjust it whatever you like. So I will make it black. Okay, so I have my black composition here. So first, let's have a recap of the last class. So last class I taught you about easy's effects. Let's do that. So first I adjust my anchor point, and I will teach you about this, how to adjust, how to move it, etc, etc. Just like position the anchor point at the center. Now if I want to animate it, I press P, which brings about the position property. Then I go, for example, I go to frame number 10, or yeah, 7 or 10, whatever, 8, and I animated it. As you can see, it automatically adds a keyframe. So I animated, I just do some random stuff, and yeah. So this is how you create your position keyframe. Now in order to edit it in the graph, it's just like a straight line, as you can see. To edit it, you have to convert it into an easy ease property, easy ease type of keyframe. Once it is converted into that type of keyframe, go to the graph editor, select these keyframe, go to the graph editor. As you can see, it automatically creates a parabolic representation of the animation. So first, its velocity increases, then it decreases. So its velocity increases, then it's decreasing because the slope is less here, and then it increases. So this is my animation. I can change it. So I'll select these vertices, drag it across, and drag it here. So it first goes very slow, then the slope increases here, as you can see, and then it goes very fast, and then it slows down. So this animation is quite interesting. um, Now let's so this was last class. Basically, you can fiddle around with these properties. For example, the stroke property, you can remove a fill color. You just alt click on it, and you'll get a red line here which shows there's no fill color. You can increase the stroke and stuff like that. You can do variety of stuff. You just experiment with these type of properties. For example, I created a stroke here. I go to stroke, and then I add these dashes. I create those dashes. I can do basically anything with After Effects. It's very user friendly. You just have to explore. That's how I learned After Effects, by exploring new stuff. So I'll just turn it off, and I am going to wait. I'm going to add a fill to it. Let's say blue, and I'm going to remove the stroke. You can alt click on this too to remove the stroke. Done. Now we'll be animating with the scale property. I will remove my existing keyframes, and let's get started. So basically, scaling involves a anchor point. So for example, to in order to set the anchor point, you have I'll teach you about what it does in scaling just after a few minutes. To move around the anchor point and to adjust its properties, uh, the there is a specific tool to move the anchor point separately. That tool is called the pan behind tool. As you can read, its shortcut key is Y. I'll just press on it, and then it can select the anchor point and you can move it. You can turn on snapping, which means that it will automatically snap it to the corners and some specific places. I'll snap it to the center. This means that the anchor point is in exactly the center of the circle. To animate scale properties, I'll click on S. It will bring upon the scale property. I'll add a keyframe. Then I'm going to change its size. So as you can see, it automatically increases its size around this point. So the meaning of this is, so let's move this like at the corner or something, at the top for example. I'll move it at the top, so it's at the top, and now I will scale it. So you notice that it's scaling around here. It's scaling from this anchor point. So an anchor point basically a starting point. So it will start here, and scaling can basically go in negative also. So for example, you can do like this, or if I like um, position it in the center, I can negative scale it for example. So I'll just animate it like this. So this is my animation till now. I can, so easy ease effect is where it's for every animation because it's so damn fantastic. So I'll create a easy ease effect. I'll go to the graph editor and I'm going to adjust my graph. So just like the position property, it works like that. So first it's quite slow, then its slope increases, which means its acceleration is high, then it happens like that. So this is quite a good animation. It's like very interesting. You can make professional animations with these properties. If you go to my other videos in which for example internet safety and final 2, you will see many animations which involve these effects. Almost the whole of the video is made with these effects. Without easy effects, After Effects would be like useless, literally useless. So yeah, so the idea behind these easy effects is the graph editor, which I explained it in the last class. So now let's try to animate the scale property quite differently. Let's position the anchor point here. I'm gonna animate it like that. So it automatically created an animation, and we can adjust the graph editor to this point. So this animation is quite interesting. So do this repeatedly. I can do these animations with multiple objects, and for example, I place a rectangle here. Oh sorry, I have to create a new shape layer for the rectangle. Okay, I can also scale this rectangle however as I want. So I go to the pan behind tool. I can switch on snapping, which is preferred to uh, like position the anchor point in an exactly specified place. Then I can animate it. So for example, let's delete my circle layer. I don't need that. Now if I want to animate my rectangle, for example, if I position my anchor point here, so let's see what happens. I go to my scale property by pressing S for its shortcut key. Then I will add a keyframe here, and let's position it like there. Let's make, and basically this constraint proportions basically means if you like increase one, the y scale and the x scale will both increase, whereas if you deselect it, you can individually change those values. So I'm gonna individually change those values. I'll keep it like here. So wait, this is the wrong place. I'll keep it there, and I'm gonna turn this to 0. So this is my animation till now. So you want to make it interesting, so let's go to easy ease. Let's go to let's adjust this, and the green line here is for the y property, y scaling, and this red line is for the x scaling. Okay, in the x direction. So it will scale like this. So as you can see, it's quite a good animation. You can change it however like you want. It's quite good. So try using different shapes and text layers. Type it I can type some text and I will increase its size. This is a font which you can download. It's an amazing font. It's a professional font. I recommend it. So its name is it's called Couture. It's probably a French word or something. Couture. So it's quite an amazing font, and it is used by PBS Spacetime, uh, a YouTube channel about physics. I love physics, and I'll be creating tutorials about physics as well. So I have my text here. I'm gonna scale it too. So as the anchor point is here, I can move this anchor point anywhere I want. I can position it here. I'll uh, add a keyframe here. I'm gonna add a keyframe here. I'm gonna make it 0 here. So this is my animation. You can change this to easy ease animation type and change its graph. So the green line and the red line. So the green line is the Y scale and the red line is the X scale, as I told you before. This is my animation. You can like do this. So there are animations can be way better than these. This is just a tutorial, so I'm making very simple ones. You can make these animations quite good. So as you can see, it's not a bad animation. It's quite a good entry for an animation. Try this at home. Do a lot of stuff with this. Change its animation. So I'm gonna add a keyframe here, a duplicate keyframe, and I'm gonna scale it like that and exit. So I'm gonna make it 0, and I'm gonna move it a little. Yeah. So go to the graph editor. So graph editor can be complex sometimes. So don't worry. Study physics. Study acceleration. The slope of the velocity versus time graph is acceleration, by the way. So I'll not boast about physics now. So as you can see, my animation just did some random stuff which I didn't want to happen. That's because it's because of the graph editor. So if you don't want to make an animation like this, you just go to edit and split layer. Then from here you press the scale and you decrease it here to 0. So this will be much better because these are two different layers. The graph editor of one layer won't affect the graph editor of other layer. So it's preferred you split the layers and then animate. So I'm gonna change it and gonna make it like that. And there's no random stuff which is happening, which happened last time when I didn't split the layer. So you can experiment a lot of animations. You can do whatever you want. Easy effects work with any type of animation. It also opacity and position and rotation, etc., etc. So I leave you here. Experiment at your home. After Effects is all about experimenting. It's very easy. It's very user friendly, and continue to do stuff. And don't forget to subscribe and like my video.